In this video, we will be talking about adding and subtracting integers. And for examples 1 through 4, we are going to be talking about adding integers. And the saying is, same signs you would add and keep. So as we look at question 1, we have a -7 and a -1, because that minus would go with that 1, making it negative. Now when you have the same signs, you would add and keep, which means we are going to keep the signs. And these signs are negative, so that means my answer would be negative. And so when you add them, you have 7 plus 1, that's 8. And you keep the sign, again, meaning negative, so it would be a -8 for your final answer. Question 2, we have a +4, there's no sign on it, which means it's positive, and a +9. Again, you're going to keep the signs, so your answer would be positive because both of those numbers are positive. And again, same signs, add and keep. So 4 plus 9 is 13, and you would keep the signs, meaning it would be a +13. Question 3, we have -11 and -2. Again, same signs, add and keep. So since they are negative, that means our answer would be negative. Now I'm going to add the numbers. 11 plus 2 is 13, and keep the signs, which would be negative. Question 4, we have 15 plus 8. Well, we have a +15 and a +8, so that means that the answer would be positive because we're going to keep those signs. So we add the numbers. 15 plus 8 is 23, and keep the sign, so +23. Now we're going to talk about different signs. We have different signs we subtract. So when we are looking at questions 5 through 7, the saying goes different signs subtract, and you would take the sign of the bigger number. So when we look at the numbers, we have 12 and 2. Well, 12 is bigger, and that 12 is negative, so my answer is going to be negative. And here we say different signs we're going to subtract. So 12 minus 2 is 10, and we take the sign of the greater number, which is 12, so -10, just like we said right there. Now let's move on to question 6. We have -6 plus 8. Well, we're going to take the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is 8, and it is positive. So my answer is going to be positive. And again, when we have different signs, we subtract. So 8 minus 6 is 2. And again, the bigger number was 8, and it is positive, so our answer is +2. Question 7, we have 9 minus 4. So again, we take the sign of the greater number. That number is 9 because 9 is bigger than 4, so our answer is going to be positive. And 9 minus 4 is 5. And again, our 9 is greater, so it is a +5. Now, as we look at questions 8 through 10, you need to watch out because you want to look when you have two signs in the middle. So there are going to be two signs. In the middle. And we want to think about our multiplication rules here when we're thinking about having two signs in the middle. So as we look at number 8, we have -4 minus -3. Now when you think about it, if you multiply two negatives, your answer is positive. So we're going to change these two negatives. Think of it like multiplication. A negative times a negative is a positive. So we actually have -4 plus 3 if you were to rewrite it, because both these negatives change to positive. And when we look at this, we have -4 plus 3. Well, those are different signs, so that means subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1, and we take the sign of the greater number. Well, the greater number is 4, and it's negative, so that means my answer is -1. Now let's look at question 9. Question 9, we have 10 plus -4. Now remember, think about multiplication. A positive times a negative, well, that's a negative, so that means we have 10 minus 4. Different signs, so you subtract, and 10 minus 4 is 6. You take the sign of the greater number. 10 is the greater number, so our answer is positive. Question 10, we have -2 minus -1. Again, think a negative times a negative. Well, those are positives, giving me negative 2 plus 1. And when you think about this, you have different signs, right? So that means you're going to subtract. 2 minus 1 is 1, and you take the sign of the greater number. Well, that would be 2, and it is negative, so your answer is negative 1. So again, just follow those rules of same signs add and keep, different signs subtract, and make sure that when you have two signs in the middle, to see if the signs are the same, it's positive. If the signs are different, it is negative.